In this video, I'm going to show you everything that I currently have installed on my modded Nintendo 2DS. If you've just modded your Nintendo 3DS or you're on the fence about doing it, this is going to be the perfect video for you. We're going to check out a bunch of great homebrew applications and a bunch of great games that I have currently installed. We're going to start by checking out Universal Updater. If you've recently modded your Nintendo 3DS, you'll likely have this on by default. Universal Updater is basically a homebrew app store. Bunch of great applications on here. Just going to briefly check it out right now. If it's the first time you're opening it, it may take a minute or two to update, as it will download the database containing all of these fantastic applications. One of the first apps you're probably going to want to check out is Twilightmenu DS. We're going to talk about that a bit more a little later in the video. But on top of that, there's just a bunch of other great stuff in here. Have a look through it, and you'll see on the bottom screen that there is a description telling you sort of what they are and sort of what console they're for. You'll see some things that are specifically for the DSi console, so just be mindful of that. You'll also find some great emulators on here for the SNES, GBA. If you want some alternatives to Twilightmenu, they're also worth checking out. You can also find a bunch of community-driven ports of some popular games, such as Super Mario 64. I believe there's some Sonic games on here, a bunch of NES games. Check them all out in Universal Updater. The next app that we're going to be checking out is Hshop. This is absolute must-have if you have a modded 3DS in 2025. Basically what Hshop is it is a replacement for the Nintendo eShop, which shut down last year in 2024, except everything on the Hshop is completely free. You'll find all digital versions of every 3DS game, all DLCs, all demos, all regions, and there's also a bunch of great sort of homebrew applications and themes. We will be checking out the themes in a little bit more detail a little bit later on in the video. Hshop though, absolute must have. Now, if you don't already have Hshop installed, simply Google it. You'll come to the website. You'll want to scan the QR code on the website and install it. You can also manually download and put the CIA file onto your SD card, which brings us to the next application we want to check out, which is FBI. FBI is basically like a file manager. It's where you'll install pretty much all of your applications and manage all of the homebrew which you have installed. So just to briefly show you some of its features, if we come down to here, I've got a CIA folder created on my SD card. You can see I have a game, Persona Q2. Pretty good game, worth checking out if you like dungeon crawlers. But downloaded this earlier, popped it on the SD card. And to install it, I would simply just click install and delete CIA. Click yes. Not going to do that right now because it does take a little bit of time. So a couple of other things that you can do in FBI. You can manage your install, so all of the homebrew applications and games. You come down into the title section here. We can see that we've got a cartridge in here, which is Super Mario 3D Land. But you can see here that we have a bunch of homebrew applications and games. So for example, if I wanted to uninstall Pokémon Ultra Moon here, we can do that by coming down and delete the title and ticket, and that will completely remove it from the home screen and delete all of the data associated with that title. And aside from obviously game installs, then you can remove all of your homebrew applications as well if you wanted to. The final thing that I want to show you in FBI is the remote install feature here. This will give you the ability to scan QR codes. So if you come into here and then click on scan QR code, this will activate the cameras, and then you can use them cameras to scan QR codes, which you can find online on your phone, whatever, on your laptop. Scan them, it'll remotely install the application directly onto your home menu screen. Can be useful just to save you having to take the SD card out. The next application I want to briefly mention is the Pokémon Bank. It's still working in 2025. Great application, absolute must-have for all Pokémon fans. I have got a video covering the full process of how to install this and set it up. Go and check out that video, get Pokémon Bank installed, get it set up, because it's an absolute must-have for all Pokémon fans. Whilst we're on the subject of Pokémon, I just want to also mention PKSM. This is a Pokémon save file manager. Absolute must-have for any Pokémon fans. Brilliant application. I've got a couple of videos on some of the things you can do with this app. I'm going to show you a few of them right now. So I'm just going to go ahead here and jump into my Omega Ruby save, just to use as an example here. So I'll just go down on the bottom screen here. Now, you can effectively use this as sort of an alternative to Pokemon Bank. It'll allow you to transfer Pokemon from generations 1 all the way up to the current generation 9, or sorry, up into generation 7. You can then transfer up to 9 from Pokemon Bank. I've got a video covering that process as well. Links to all of these videos will be in the description down below. Just to give you an example here, we've got this Zigzagoon. We can move this up into the top screen here, and then we can move this between our different saves. Just going to come out of here. Let's see the changes there. I'll show you a few of the other things. So we have the edit here. This is great because you can customize any of your Pokemon, and what I mean by this is you can sort of hack them. So we can change the nature to anything that we like. Change the ability, so you can get the hidden abilities straight off the bat. You don't have to sort of mess around. Just great for if you're just playing around with in-game things. Be mindful that you probably wouldn't want to transfer these up into Pokemon Home because they are technically illegal, as they're classified the exact same as sort of hacked mons. So again, we'll just come out of here. And the final thing I'll show you is the events. So through the events with PKSM, you can basically implement any of the events what are no longer obviously active. So to give you sort of an example here, there's a Typhlosion event, which is applicable to these games here. We can inject this into our game and collect the Pokemon like you would any mystery gift event. I've got a video covering this process as well, so if you want to check that out, the link to that will be in the description down below. And that covers PKSM. So I briefly mentioned Twilightmenu earlier. It's an absolute must-have. It gives you access to a bunch of great emulators, lets you play your Nintendo DS games. Just an absolute must-have application for anybody with a modded 3DS. Just as we're mentioning DS games there, just want to show you here that I also have an application known as the NDS Forwarder. You'll be able to find that on Universal Updater. This will allow you to set up your NDS ROMs on your home screen. So as you can see, I've got all of the Pokemon games and a couple of others. Got Final Fantasy IV and Dragon Quest IX there. All great games. And finally, we're just going to go over a couple of the games that I have installed here at the moment. So we've got Fire Emblem Awakening. Brilliant game. Probably the best in the Fire Emblem series, to be honest. There's a bunch of other great Fire Emblem games on the 3DS. Haven't got those what's on just yet, but you can't go wrong with Fire Emblem. Next we have Shin Megami Tensei 4. This is, probably my favourite 3DS game, to be honest. Best RPG on the system in my opinion. The story in this game is just nothing short of fantastic. Character development, brilliant. Plot's great. Gameplay is great. The combat is probably some of the best combat in any turn-based RPG I have played to date. Well worth checking out if you've not checked out Shin Megami Tensei 4 yet. Next we've got Animal Crossing New Leaf. What can you say other than it's the best Animal Crossing game? Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. Come on, you've got to have Zelda. It's a Nintendo console. We've also got A Link Between Worlds, two fantastic Zelda games. It's also Majora's Mask on the 3DS, which is another great Zelda title. Then we've got Luigi's Mansion here. You've got Luigi's Mansions 1 and 2 on the 3DS. The first one's my personal favourite. I know there's a bit more features in the second one, but I've got a bit of nostalgia for the original, which is a remake of the GameCube version. Great game, well worth checking out. Mario Kart 7, again, it's a Nintendo console, gotta have a Mario Kart game on there. And that brings me to the Pokemon games. Anyone who follows the channel knows I'm a huge fan of the series. Probably not much more needs to be really said here, other than I've pretty much got all of them, apart from Sun and Moon, because when you have Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, kind of no point in Sun and Moon, is there? Finally, I'm going to briefly mention Anemone. This is a theme manager, so you can put custom themes on here, download any of the themes from the Hshop. You also have a custom theme sort of shop within Anemone. I'm going to make a full video on Anemone soon, so stay tuned for that one. But that's going to bring us to the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, leave some comments down below, let me know what you think, let me know if there's anything you want to see in the future. But that's going to be all for this one, and I'll catch you all on the next one.